And good afternoon, Pokemon trainers and fans out there. Welcome back to our Bochum Regional Championships 2023 live stream. We are now in day 2, and we're going to get right stuck in to our round 13. Shay, do you want to introduce some of these decks that we're going to be seeing?
Yeah, so as you can see there, we have Brent on the right playing Mew VMAX, and it's not a DTE Mew, it is a Fusion Mew, so we'll be seeing some Meloetta action there from Brent. And on the left there, we have Giacomo, and he's playing Lugia V Star. Nothing really too outrageous in the list there, looking at the Lugia, nothing really too different there. And looking at the Mew list, we do see one copy of Silene, we do see some Trekking Shoes, he catches actually as well, so could see some shenanigans. It looks like Brent is going first, and I tell you what, Ben, I don't think there's a scarier deck than Fusion Mew going first. That is a terrifying prospect.
There certainly is, and we absolutely love the fact that we're going to be seeing Fusion Mew coming up on the stream. We're both massive fans of this deck, of course. But you know what? I've been thinking, Brent bringing this Fusion Strike Mew, it's so aggressive, as you said, going first, getting those fusion energy straight onto the Meloetta, hitting massive, massive numbers. So what Brent's doing here is saying, I'm not going to go for the Disruptive Mew. No. I'm not going to be playing Path and Judge. I'm going to be playing straight up Fusion Strike Energy, Meloetta, like you said, and just going straight for the win.
With the double VIP pass opener as well, Brent's saying, right, I'm going to get all the stuff down. I tell you what, looking at Brent's list as well, this is literally the one of the most aggressive lists I've seen. Not only do we have 3 copies of Pokemon Catcher, we also see the 1 copy of Echoing Horn, which is a card I feel is a lot of 61st cards in Mew lists. A lot of people want to play it, but can be a little bit situational, so people choose not to, so it stays on the cutting room floor, as it were. But Echoing Horn in combination with Catchers and Meloetta just lets you get downright cheeky in taking prize cards.
I'm rubbing my hands because I absolutely love flipping coins.
And was that heads on the cram as well? Brent is getting delirious with the search right now. What do you even take? Did you go for another VIP battle pass here?
You take Pokemon Catcher.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. No, you'd probably take VIP pass. Yeah, get it out of the deck.
That is 3 VIP battle pass turn 1, everyone. 3, count them.
No, huge. And of course, playing the VIP pass turn 1 is so optimal because you get to get rid of some dead cards from your deck. Of course, we know that you can't play them after the turn 1. Yeah. So you have to find a way of getting rid of them. So this is perfect. This is a perfect way to just get rid of that junk.
No, 100%. And one interesting thing about Brent's list is that you can probably see, because he's filled his bench, he actually isn't playing the copy of Oricorio. What that allows you to do in the Fusion Mew build is always have 3 Genesect down, because you can go 2 Mews, 3 Genesects, and 1 Meloetta. Sometimes if you have Oricorio, it can make it a bit weird, where you might not be able to have a backup Mew, or only have 2 copies of Genesects. And Fusion Strike system, the difference between 2 and 3 is massive.
No, and this is a little bit of a throwback to the previous format, where Fusion Strike Me was so scary going second, because you could just pop off with that Meloetta, Alyssa Sparkle, but the advantage Brent has in this format is that he's not going to be coming up against any opposition in this game against Lugia. You might be against with Lost Box, because of course the Cramorant will be able to usually attack on first turn, but he's not going to be seeing any threats anytime soon.
No, 100%. But looking over at Giacomo, does actually play 1 copy of Drapion V, so Brent will have to navigate that. Brent isn't to know that there is a Drapion Lugia. Probably not the most common of cards. It is possible. But Giacomo also does play 1 copy of Cherin's Care as well as cancelling Clone. So there is some interesting stuff in there, along with a Big Charm. That could actually be really interesting to try and push a Lugia into a 310 HP 2 prizer, and that's something that Mew just doesn't want to deal with. Yeah,
no, the Drapion is still asking a little bit more from Brent, but Brent, of course, as we know, playing the Fusion Strike build, so he's looking to be getting ahead of the prize race really early and taking advantage of those early aggressive knockouts. But from what we see from Giacomo is, of course, the V-Guard energy, the Big Charm. It's asking a lot more from Mew, but an advantage for Brent is that, with the Fusion Strike energy build, you're going to be taking advantage of Meloetta's, ability to hit those big numbers.
Yeah, like if Brent, in a normal DTE build, asking 310 or 330 is you know, that's asking a lot. But however, if Brent can navigate to get 4 fusion energies in play, your starting damage output is 280. That means you're just a choice belt and or a power tablet away from hitting upwards of 300. And that's something that Brent, if he is to suspect that there is going to be some tanky cards in this list, might just opt to go Meloetta, which is crazy. And also Meloetta, even if it's not being attacked with a Mew VMAX, leaving a 1 prize inactive that's swinging for upwards of 200, really, because it asks a lot of Geochrome, because you have to deal with a Meloetta. You can't let it hang around. A bit like Amazing Rare Yveltal in that sense, where if you don't deal with it, it's just going to come back and swing again.
No, it's huge, and we see Brent playing the big Parasol, so it's going to negate the attack of the Yveltal, the Amazing Rare Yveltal.
He does,
but you know, I think with Brent, we see usually the play with the more popular Mew at the moment with the disruptive build. Usually they go Path, Judge, knock out a Pokemon, and then wait for the Drapion, and if your opponent can get it. Now, what we're seeing here from Brent is just the 2 Lost City. No Path, of course, because of the Fusion Strike build. So, you know, like I said, he's going for those early knockouts, early aggression. I'm going to be ahead of the prize trade always.
Yeah, 100%. And with the V-Guard, and it's actually really interesting there, forcing Brent to be able to maybe reach a little bit higher than we would like to get that Lugia V. But I'm really interested to see if that Echoing Horn can come up, because Echoing Horn's going to make it really interesting. Brent could just say, right, oh, was that?
See a Chromatic? I think it's Tails.
I think it was a 5.
Usually when I play Chromatic, I usually just have one hand on the deck ready for the head. But no, we don't see that here. It's just the Tails.
We see a Tails, and then we see the Elisa Sparkle, allowing you to get 2 Fusion Energy out of your deck and attach 1 to 2 of your Fusion Strike Fusion Strike Pokemon, I should say. And he's going to get to roll in the Fusion Strike energy really good, you know, open the door for Meloetta and also preventing effects of abilities done to the Pokemon's attached to you. Not going to be super relevant, I feel, in this matchup, but worth noting.
No, of course, but the thing is here, of course, is that V-Guard energy is attached to that Lugia V. Giacomo would have wanted to maybe hold on to that V-Guard energy to, like we said, make a Lugia V-Star a bit ginormous, ask a lot for Brent. And here we see the Meloetta possibly taking the knockout on this Lugia and getting rid of that V-Guard energy out of the game.
Yeah, and this is, and he's going to do it with a 1 prize Pokemon as well. Like I said, if Giacomo doesn't deal with this Meloetta and lets it exist, Brent can just attach 1 more Fusion Strike energy, and now your base output is 280. That is a ridiculous number.
No, and that was such an advantage with Mew Fusion Strike, the Fusion Strike build in the previous formats, was usually when you go first, you have the way of just attaching to 2 Meloetta, all of the Fusion Strike energy, and just saying, look, you have to deal with this. You have to get this out of the way, because, you know, if you don't, I'm just going to be taking those big knockouts after big knockouts.
No, you are 100% correct, and it really puts Giacomo in an interesting position. Now, he didn't really do a lot last turn, I feel. Can't really see his discard pile, unfortunately, but it looks like he's, no, not going to cut. Brent is definitely in the drivers here. Energy's flying everywhere. Mews are getting ready to be set up, and wow, what a strong position Brent is in so far. Yeah,
he does need, I believe, 1 more modification to be able to knock out. That's either with the Mew or the Meloetta. So what we'll see here is just Brent trying to navigate his way through this. He's got 1 more Fusion Strike system. We see the tracking shoes, and this build is just so aggressive. He's just running through that deck.
No, he really is. You know, tracking shoes. We can even just use the Forest Seal Stone if he really has to get that extra modifier. Obviously, you would like to prefer drawing into it manually and be able to save that Genesect for whatever reason later on, but that is the option. Giacomo saying, yeah, they are some trekking shoes. They are Pokemon catching this cup. I am seeing that correctly. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and the thing is with the Forest Seal Stone, if as Mew players, I should say, between both of us, you know, you would have been gasping for a card like Forest Seal Stone when we were playing this deck. It guarantees the Elisa Sparkle.
Just realised we're silly. We don't need another power tablet. Meloetta's not a V Pokemon.
Oh, of course, of course. No, yes, of course, it was just for the Mew. But going back to it, the Forest Seal Stone just adds a little bit of something different to this deck. It just adds a different element and so much more consistency.
No, honestly, like you said, both being Mew players ourselves, being able to give Mew the ability, I'm laughing as I'm saying it, the ability to just computer search a card at any time is just ridiculous. And here we do see Giacomo firing off, you know, getting back into the race. It does have the Summoning Star. I believe there's at least 1 Archeops in the discard pile. I'm not 100% sure it's the second one. but he's definitely not out of the race by any means. There's one thing. Let's see what he's got in his hand, actually. We see a quick ball, we see a Marnie, we see a powerful.
We see the Stoutland, of course.
Now, Stoutland could reach up, actually, because what's the base damage on a Stoutland?
The Stoutland base damage is 40, I believe. So, in order to knock out that Meloetta, he's going to be needing 40, 60, 80, 100. So he's going to be needing 3 powerful energy on the Meloetta to be able to take multiple prizes. He's probably going to be looking for that solution, being down on the prize race now. Of course, you can always just take those 3 easy prizes from the Mew VMAX with the Drapion. And also we see the Yveltal coming down as well. So this Giacomo, he's probably thinking, right, okay, I'm going to be losing 2 prize, 2 prize, 2 prize. This is what Brent's going to be going for. And I know he doesn't know if he plays Echoing Horn, but that's probably what's going through his head. And he's going to be thinking, how do I get ahead of this prize race?
No, you're 100% correct. Giacomo is on the back foot now, but like you said, you could even opt to go for a strategy of taking Stoutland and then going for a Drapion and then just try and, eke out a boss KO on a Genesect. That is an option. The Drapion here, I think, is going to keep Giacomo in this game a lot because being able to just upswing into Mew VMAX. And there we see 2 Archeops. And yeah, Giacomo's not in a bad position at all. Worth noting though, if Giacomo does go for a Stoutland into Meloetta, that would stop Lugia V-Star from being able to ever reach into a Mew VMAX. So there'll be all the powerful energy attached to the Stoutland, so that means Lugia can never reach into a Mew VMAX. So another little interesting wrinkle to keep an eye on.
It's a little bit of an easier knockout for Brent. Against the usual Lost Box, it's asking a lot more to hit those numbers that Stoutland has. However, for Brent, it's just 1 power modification, right? It's just 1 power tablet. It's just 1 choice belt. So, it is a play, of course. It's going to be something that Giacomo has to be able to get ahead of the prize race. But from what we see here, it's still the question, like you said, he's going to have to be going for the Meloetta. He can't let that stay on the board.
No, and it looks like Giacomo's going to do a really cool play here, setting up the Aqua return, I believe, into... Oh, yeah, he did attach that. Yeah, well done. And there we see the Marnie. Yeah, so it looks like Giacomo is going to try and set up the Aqua return. It's a good way of getting rid of the Meloetta. You remove a 2 prizer. You can then try and promote a 1 prizer, such as, I don't know, like a Pump Kaboo or an Oran Guru. Something, just throw a 1 prizer in the active that Brent really doesn't want to hit into it. Brent really just wants to go 2-2-2, as in 2 prize knockout, 2 prize knockout, 2 prize knockout. He doesn't want to deal with a 1 prizer at all.
No, of course. But this is leaving the Lugia susceptible to a knockout, of course. It's going to be asking a little bit more from Brent in terms of power modifications. Damage modifications. But, leaving that 2 prizer on board, it still doesn't fix Giacomo's problem. It still doesn't fix his problem. I'm going to be taking 1. Oh, Brent's going to be just taking 2.
Yes.
It still doesn't fix the problem entirely. Maybe if Giacomo knew that Brent plays the Echoing Horn, he could have summoning started his own Lugia. But it still leaves that on the board, and it still leaves that play active.
Right, is that a Dunsparce? Oh, it's a Manaphy.
It's a Manaphy.
It's a Manaphy. So these trainer gallery cards can be a little bit hard to spot. That is a Manaphy. And this will probably be the Pokemon that Giacomo opts to promote on the back of this Aqua return, because it's a card that, Fusion Strike, I guess you could play that the Iskew that has the Snipe, but it's not something you see terribly often. So Giacomo thinks, this is a 1 prizer that is very disposable. I can throw this in the active.
No, and just setting up the Lugia V-Star there on the bench. It's my idea. We've been seeing that multiple times on the stream in day 1 and day 2. Getting prepared for the next turn for Lugia is so important because of those retreat costs, quite costly. And he's going to be giving up that Manaphy as pretty much a sacrificial lamb, if you will. He's happy enough to take the single prize sacrifice here. As we said, the prize trade 2-2-2 for Brent, and then Giacomo, of course, can be able to take advantage of this if he's able to knock out the Mew VMAX.
No, 100% correct here. And I feel that Giacomo has put himself in a really good position. If Brent can't get around this Manaphy, and it's a big if, but if he can't, and Brent is just forced to hit into it with a Mew VMAX. Giacomo can just slam the Drapion down really fast and capitalize. But I think Brent will never hit into this Manaphy. Even if he doesn't draw into Gust via Fusion Strike system, he always just has the Fire Seal Stone to find a boss, or I mean, I guess a catch if he really wants to go crazy with it. But I imagine boss and or Serena will be his choice of Gust.
We know he's only played one Power Tablet. We know he plays one Choice Belt as well, so there's plenty of damage modifications available to him. And of course, good thing is here for Brent is that 2 Fusion Strike Energy on Mew, he doesn't have to deal with the effect of double turbo.
No, we do see the Echoing Horn.
We see the Echoing Horn play.
We do see the Echoing Horn.
And again, this is just a simple knockout for Brent if he is able to get Gust.
That is actually he has a Choice Belt in hand as well. That was actually a massive Echoing Horn there, because if Brent didn't have the Echoing Horn, we'd have had to Gust that V-Start, then find 3 mods. Much harder ask than it is just to find 1 mod plus a boss. Putting down to 2 prize cards, and now Brent, even if he does get Drapion, just has to amass
I see
some
that
mods.
Serena in hand,
Yeah, has the Serena in hand. Doesn't even have to go for any Gust. He goes down to 2 prize cards this turn, and even if he does get Drapion, he can just KO the Drapion, and the game's over.
And the game's over,
So Brent is in a really good position, and Giacomo on the ropes.
Yeah, no, and totally. This is what we talked about before. It's so important, the prize race.
Yeah.
And, you know, Brent doesn't even need to use his Forest Seal Stone to knock this
He
out.
doesn't even have to use it.
It's so much more consistency. He hasn't even used 2 Fusion Strike systems. And, you know, when we looked at Mew and we looked at the changes back to a disruptive build, maybe it was more orientated around the Lost Box variants. You know, a bit of Judge, a bit of disruption. You need that to stay in the format. But Brent's saying, you know what? I'm just going to stick to Fusion Strike. I'm going to go pure aggression, and I'm going to win all of my 2 prize and 3 prize matchups.
No, 100%. It's a really interesting way to look at the format, right? If you see that Lugia is just by far the most played deck, if you could just say, right, I'm taking 2 prizes turn 1, let's just race. And just say, right, can these Lugias keep up? Sometimes they can, maybe they can't, especially with Echoing Horn. You know, it's just going to make it really easy for Brent to just go 2-2-2. And if you start seeing Lugia counter stuff like Vikavolt and that, if you can just get a ton of Fusion Strike energy in play, you can just blow through them as well. So, yeah, I'm really liking the position Brent's in right here. And Giacomo, I'm trying to think, what's his best way to get around this? I mean, I don't think Drapion can be used now, because that's just such an easy KO for Brent. Might have to try and stick the Lugia V-Star in the active, or maybe try and go for the Amazing Ray Yveltal. Yeah,
unfortunately for Giacomo, you know, as you said, he's a bit on the ropes here. You know, he's staring down a Mew VMAX with 4 Fusion Strike Genesect on board. Brent has full consistency. He's keeping through, thinning out his deck, drawing cards, you know, getting rid of the cards he doesn't need, so he can be able to see this game out by knocking out the V-Star. That Echoing Horn play was huge.
One thing I've just realized, Brent only plays 2 VMAX. 1 is prized.
Oh, yes.
Brent hasn't got another VMAX right now. He hasn't got access to another VMAX. You have to imagine, if this Mew goes down, which it probably will via Yveltal and or Drapion, Brent hasn't got an attack. He was relying on taking that Mew out the prizes there, and he actually didn't.
No, like you said, this is huge. I completely missed that.
Yeah, he only plays 2 Mew VMAX, which is a counter I actually do myself when I play Fusion Mew, because chances are when you've got Meloetta taking pause, you don't necessarily need 2 Mew VMAX. The problem where that really comes back to bite you is in this exact scenario when you prize 1.
No, yeah, of course. And, you know, we'll see how Brent, you know, orientates around this. I'm guessing he's seen that.
Ooh, I'm trying to think, how can you... Because now the Fusion energies are gone, you can't even try and power up a Meloetta now.
I guess you can try and bench another Mew ready to take a Mew VMAX from the prizes and take out a knockout with Psychic Leap.
It's going to have to be, I think you're right, it's going to have to be Psychic Leap into the Manaphy.
Yes.
I think that's what you're going to have to do, but then this Yveltal's taking 3 prize cards now, and then that means Drapion can close the game out. So you have to Psychic Leap. Oh no, you can't even Psychic Leap into 1 prize because he's not playing Oricorio. So this is going to be a really hard game for Brent to close out there. We're just screaming his praises, but I just assumed he's playing 3 VMAX when I checked again, and he's not. He's only playing 1, or 2, I should say, but he's only got access to 1, and that's about to hit the discard pile.
Yeah, and you imagine Brent would probably be looking through his deck and realizing that.
Yeah, I think he knows, yeah.
But I'm just looking at this. He does play the 1 Silene.
Oh yes, so you are correct.
We could be seeing a Silene catcher here. We could be a Silene into catcher Mew VMAX. However, he does have the Lost City in play.
Oh yeah, Lost City is in play. Yeah, so
it's whether Giacomo doesn't see the writing on the wall and, you know, does use the Lost Vacuum. But yeah, we do see that, and we see into the Lost Zone it goes.
Yeah, no, that's the Brent's own Lost City coming back to bite him there. And yeah, wow. Okay, so let's try and think. It's going to have to be Psychic Leap. How many prizes is it? Oh, Giacomo's on 2 prize cards. You can't even Psychic Leap and promote a Genesect. It just gets KO'd. I'm not sure. What's the win con? What is the win con? You can't even...
So you have to knock out the Yveltal. So you would be Psychic Leaping into Yveltal and hope...
That's a lot of powers, though.
And just hoping that Giacomo doesn't have the energy to attack with the Lugia Vista.
Yeah, so you'd need 2 power tablets, right, to get the KO here. And I think... Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's what it comes down to, and that is... I mean, it's possible, but you have to imagine Giacomo already has 2 energies on the Lugia Vista. You have to imagine probably has access to more. But yeah, Brent just... wow. Maybe Brent was just hoping to take the Mew VMAX out of the prize cards, but... wasn't quite fortunate enough to do that. And yeah, looking at the list again, is there anything we've missed? No, there's definitely no Ordinary World. There's no Shuffle back. Silene would have been an out, but you're right. The Lost City actually
making such a play. There's so much going on in this game.
Yeah, there was,
so much going on. You've got the Lost City. This is a type of game where the little differences make a huge part.
No, 100%. 100%. And it's a shame. Maybe if Brent knew that the Mew VMAX wasn't going to be taken because it was at the top prize card, maybe he could have went double Meloetta at the start of the game, just to try and have another attacker that can actually throw out, a bit higher damage.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's not the case. And I'm struggling to see what Brent can do here realistically. I mean, there's the Silene as well. What can this get back then? What was that? Double heads. That's double heads, right?
Yeah.
It was? Okay, well, that's a good start. I mean, if you're going to try and get yourself out of this deep hole, double heads on a Silene is going to be great. And I imagine, what are we going to see? We can get back fusion energies.
Well, he could be getting back the fusion energies, yeah, totally. He could be using it.
Could be getting back tablets to try and secure this KO.
It's such a difficult choice as well because he's obviously not going to be getting Meloetta. He's got a bench full of Pokemon now. You know, he's going to be seeing the game out with this board state unless he Psychic Leaps.
It looks like,
and it looks like the power tablet to ensure the knockout on the Yveltal possibly.
Yeah, so I think power tablet. Oh, it must have been 1 heads then.
Yeah.
Must have been 1 heads, I imagine. Maybe that was a 3. So we need to see 2 power tablets to even secure this KO. So I imagine he's got 1 tablet in hand, 1 on top of the deck. So we do definitely have a KO. So
I guess it's just whether Giacomo has the knockout with the... So he does have to retreat back into the Mew V. Sorry, I thought he was attacking there, but obviously not.
No.
So it's all just whether Giacomo has the knockout now with the Lugia V.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And you have to imagine with Primal Turbo, it's probably going to be possible, but you never. You have to see it to believe it.
You're asking a lot.
Brent playing to his out. It's a slim out, but here we go. Has Giacomo got the Tempest Dive? You have to imagine he does, but let's see what happens.
So we see here him drawing a card. Yeah, there's the Primal Turbo.
Primal Turbo. Just needs 2 energy and 2.
Yeah.
And that wraps up game 1. Very unfortunate for Brent there. Went off to a barnstormer of a start, and that's the thing when you play these small lines of Pokemon. Sure, it gives you room for things like Catcher. It does give you room for things like Silene, but it can come back to bite you if you prize them. Having 2 Mew VMAX, having 1 in the prize cards and then getting 1 KO means if you don't grab it from the prize cards, you're in trouble.
No, and I mean, he totally got punished for that, obviously. There was so much going on in the game. It would have been nice to have seen Brent obviously opt for a second Meloetta maybe.
Yeah.
And attaching to that if he knew that there was a second VMAX prized.
Yeah.
Because of course, as we noticed there, susceptible to 1 knockout. If you're not lucky enough to already have taken it from the prizes, you're just going to get straight up punished.
Yeah, 100%. And it's an interesting scenario. On your first prize check, if you realise you've got 1 Mew VMAX prize, that's where you have to make the decision. Do I run the gambit and hope to take it out of prize cards, or do I play it safe and go double Meloetta, release a Sparkle onto 2? Just to have 2 attackers that, because Meloetta, even with 2 Fusion Energy attached, in combination with power tablets, can get to 2 prize knockout territory. But Brent opted not to.
It can still use, obviously, if you attach the 2 Fusion Energy to a Mew VMAX, you can obviously still use the Technoblast attack from Genesect. But the problem is here, of course, if you attach 2 Fusion to each Meloetta, you're restricting yourself down to 140 damage later on. You know that one Meloetta is going to be attacked.
And he's prized the Mew VMAX again. I mean, this.
Oh, that
Whoa,
is
he's passed both his VMAX.
That's huge.
And 2 Genesects. What's going on?
That is huge. So, well, we definitely know he's going to be focusing on the Meloetta now.
Yeah, well, it's going to have to be double Mellow now. Let's just all look for Brent's expression when he realises what's going on. Because if I was Brent, I'm thinking, nah, not like this.
And there's 2 Genesects.
And it's exactly. So he's running on 2 Jennies. He hasn't even got Oricorio. He even struggled just to fill the bench at this point.
The shake of the head from
not
Brent
like
there as
this.
well.
Not like this. Is terrible. Prize. What's worse than playing 2 Mew VMAX and prizing 1? How about prizing both?
Well, he's got a stream story after this game for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But you know, it's not out. He's not out of the woods yet. You know, he can still come back into this with the Meloetta, taking advantage of its massive attack in combination with Alyssa's Sparkle. Melodious Echo obviously hitting massive numbers. He hasn't prized any Fusion Strike Energy, so he can still hit the big numbers.
And I guess the sort of saving grace or silver lining is that at least there's 1 Mew VMAX at the bottom. So chances are, if that Meloetta can secure a 2 prize knockout, Brent will be able to at least take 1 VMAX. But there's also a DTE hitting the discard pile as well. Resources are flying around left, right, and centre. And you know, DTE is going to be important, especially when you're going to have to go on a more early game Meloetta focus. That means fusion energies will be depleted. So that means if Brent can develop Mew VMAX later on, it will be via DTE. So having 1 hit the discard pile now could be interesting in a late game scenario. Yeah,
we see the second Meloetta hit the board here. You know, he was fortunate enough to start the 2 Genesects that he hadn't priced.
To be fair.
He does have consistency on the board. But like we said, he has the 2 Meloetta on board, going for a more Meloetta focus.
I think you have to.
And well, he has to, of course. So, you know, let's see how Giacomo faces this. I'm guessing, you know, being an opponent against Mew, and you see that they've only opted to bench 2 Genesects, you have to start to think,
hold on,
why didn't he get that out? What's wrong here? He's already got 2 Mew V on the board. He's got 2 Meloetta. What's his plan? What's going on there?
No, 100%. If you look across the board, you have to assume, right, you said something's up, and it's almost like if Brent didn't prize exactly this combination of both Mew VMAXs and 2 Genesects, maybe you can maneuver around a board set of 2 Meloettas. It's something that you used to do a lot back in the EUIC meta last year, where you'd go double Meloetta in the mirror. It's very easy to operate on that games day, but not when you've only got 2 Genesects. It's going to make it so hard. So let's see what Giacomo has to do. Giacomo still has to punish this. Giacomo still has to actually get in the game. That's a fantastic start. Quick balling away a Archeops. And let's look at Giacomo's prize cards as well. We do see the 1 copy of Yvettle, actually. Yeah. That's interesting. And it is in the middle. And you have to imagine if Brent is throwing up Meloettas, Giacomo is going to be taking 1 prize card at a time, meaning that Yvettle might not be coming out anytime soon. Apart from that, though, I think the prize cards are okay. Yeah, the one Aurora Energy might come into play, but who knows? And of course, this is still a scary board state for Giacomo. Yeah, it is. You know, he's still staring down 2 Meloetta, possibly next turn. That was just a read the win. So there is 2 Archeops in the discard, but not the most explosive of starts. Here we see the Elisa Sparkle. So the Meloettas are going to start dancing around now. And it's interesting because, like I said, double Meloetta is often a game plan that Fusion Mew likes to do. Yeah. But it's not with only 2 Genesects, though. That's going to make it tough. Yeah, it's going to make it extremely tough. We see, of course, the Elisa Sparkle going to be possibly attaching both to the so we see that more Meloetta focus. You have to. So going for the Melodious Echoes, strength, let's say, here. Oh, we see the double turbo, just reducing that damage, but he probably would have been like to see a Fusion Strike Energy there, maximizing the amount of damage. But that means he's only got 1 DTE for the Mew VMAXs now. Yes. Because he's discarded 1 and 1's been attached. Discarded 1 and 1's been attached. Yeah, that's correct. So, okay, so this is what we see with these aggressive builds. Like you said, resources just flying everywhere. You know, and unfortunately, sometimes the combinations don't quite run as well as they should or intended. Yeah, that's the sort of downside to playing Fusion Mew over DT is that you're going to have inherently a less consistent deck because you've got 4 Fusion Energies and 3 Elisa Sparkle. And the thing is with Mew, as strong as a draw engine it is, if you don't deplete your hand. You're not drawing cards, so sometimes you're just going to have to attach DTEs here or Ultra Ball stuff away there. Now, he does actually have that last DTE in hand.
Yeah.
That one can't go anywhere.
I think I did see a Silene as well. So
Silene, sure, he does play a copy of Silene.
He is taking out the Lugia there. Fortunately for Giacomo, he was able to bench the second Lugia.
100%,
of course, you definitely have to in this matchup. And then, of course, Brent on the other side, just the previous turn, of course, having to use that power tablet on the Meloetta.
Oh, so this is not... Brent is off to the races. It does have an Evolution Incense, so we do know that Giacomo has 2 Archeops in discard pile already. So the Lugia is going to get 2 Archeops down, so Primal Turbos are going to be alive. And Brent does take the Mew VMAX out of the prize cast now. So we are actually going to see a Mew VMAX. So Brent might be able to navigate his way out those disastrous prizes. But what do you think is the ideal attacker here for Giacomo?
Well, I'm guessing he's going to be having to use that Lugia V-Star. We know that he's going to be using Summoning a Star soon, but of course, if he's going to be using any other attacker, he has to pay that costly retreat cost for the Lugia. And of course, we could be using the Raikou. The Raikou amazing rare, as we see here. He could utilize that, you know.
Because if you see your opponent going down a double Meloetta route, you could just be like, right, let me just dispatch both of these Raikou. Could be an option that would require the Lugia to get out of the active, but does have the quick ball. I'd be intrigued to see if that's the way to go, because think about how much resources that's removing. 2 attackers, 4 energy cards in total.
3 fusion strike energies.
Yeah, exactly. 3 fusion energies. And wow, that would be a monstrous turn. And that would then force the Mew VMAX to attack, which then makes your Drapey on live. And then the game's pretty much over at that point.
No, so we see here on Brent's side, it was actually, looking back to it, it was extremely smart to attach the double turbo and use that. So now, keeping that 1 fusion strike energy in the deck, it makes that the Melodious Echo is still available for 210 damage next turn.
Yes. Yes.
So you know, he can be using Meloetta again, you know, and knocking out those basic Vs if he can. And of course, as we see here, the Luminion stuck on the bench.
Yeah. So I think you're correct. And it looks like an Irida for Luminion plus Big Charm. Interesting. So let's see what Giacomo opts to go for here. We do see the Primal Turbo. It looks like the way the turn's been played out, we're not going to see an amazing rare Raikou. We are probably going to see a Tempest dive. Or we could even just see, I think with a DTE in hand, so we could see an Aqua return, promote into the Oranguru. Also an option. Fine options.
And of course, for now, Brent's Echoing Horn is live. You know, he's knocked out a Lugia V. You know, he's knocked out a Lugia V. He would love to knock out this this Luminion now next turn if he can. So it just takes an easy 2 prize, as we said.
Yeah, no, I think you're correct. Yeah, let's see what Giacomo opts to do. Attaching those 2 energies to the active Lugia, I imagine they're going to come flying straight back off for a retreat. I'm going to see an Aqua return. And then I imagine a promotion into the Oranguru. Again, just making Brent answer more questions, really. Just saying, because you don't want to be taking 1 prize. There's no way you're taking 1 prize. So you're going to have to force the gust, and then find 3 modifiers as well.
No, yeah. So he can either, like we said, go for that Echoing Horn play, or the Big Charm could come into play here as well, of course. Putting that Lugia up to 310 HP, asking a lot more from Brent. I think now he would probably need to use most of his power modifications to...
You need 4 to hit 310, right?
Yeah, huge.
Four to hit 310.
So that's all of them. You know, a Choice Belt and the rest of his 3 power tablet.
Oh, yeah, you're right, because he played one.
So he did play one. And here we see another Sacrificial Lamb, unfortunately, this time being Oranguru, my favorite boy, being sacrificed here. But Brent will probably be prying out the Echoing Horn if he could.
Echoing Horn would be ideal.
Yeah, Echoing Horn onto the for the Lugia V and knocking out with the Meloetta, asking Giacomo again, take out my single prize, because you're going to have to.
No, I think you're 100% correct. That's exactly what Brent. Echoing Horn plus Ghost is ideal. Just give Brent time to try and draw into these into these power tablets, I should say, because even if Giacomo does. Even if Brent does carry this Giacomo's Lugia V-Star, if Giacomo can re-establish another Lugia V-Star, that one's going nowhere, because all the modifiers would be used. So I think Brent would like to ideally try and use Echoing Horn plus a Gust. Let's see what he tries to manufacture up here this turn. Does have a VMAX in hand, so he can actually establish a new VMAX here as well. Yeah, no, so it's quite big this turn, because Brent's deck, the advantage it has is taking those fast 2 prize knockouts and getting ahead of the prize race, as you said a few times. But if it can't,
the deck pretty much crumbles, right?
It
gets down on the prize cards, especially playing Mew, VMAX, and Drapion running around.
No, you're 100% correct. And you're sort of trading off 4 DTE Mews sort of late game combat potential via Roxanne path or Marnie path, and having some sort of disruption options for super aggressiveness. And if that was a 6, so we do see a Cram Head. So yeah, if you don't go ahead on the prize card, you're playing a super aggressive deck that has no combat potential for the most part, and has no hand disrupt. And so if you're not taking prize cards quick, you're sort of twiddling your thumbs.
No, yeah. So here we see the Cram Heads. Same old story. It's whether Brent now goes for...
Oh, and he's on up the horn!
So we see the Echoing Horn. That play is available to him. So that's, I would say, the easier option. So going for the Echoing Horn onto Lugia for the knockout on the V, continuing to thin the deck, you know, getting all of those power tablets available to him, or getting it likely to draw into them. This is a much better play than going boss the Lugia V-Star. Now I've got to find 4 cards. I mean,
here's
the Echoing Horn.
Now, in an ideal world, if you could try and pull off this KO with a Meloetta, that would be nice. Oh, wait, you know, he hacked out DT, so you can't do that. So it looks like he's going to have to do it with the Mew V. So we'll need one modifier. We need one modifier to get this, and a Gust as well. You have to imagine the way Brent's been playing, you have to imagine he has access to at least some parts of the puzzle. Trekking Shoes, a good start. Still just trying to find Gust and one modifier. That's what we need to see a KO there on that bench, Lugia V.
So he does have 2 more Fusion... The Fusion Strike system. Oh, we see, Fusion Strike system. So, sorry, I was just concentrating on what he tried to get on the Trekking Shoes. So we
see, that's one good part of the puzzle right there.
That definitely helps.
Forest Sealstone, obviously letting you just get any card you want from the deck. And it's really good because one thing I love about Fusion, Forest Sealstone in Mew, is that, it had the boss as well. Is that you can play,
there's the power tablet.
Doesn't even need to
use
the
power tablet.
Forest Sealstone.
There we were thinking he was trying to navigate his hand.
Oh, goodness gracious. There's going to be some steam coming off Brent's deck right now, the way he's drawing. Oh, my goodness. The prize cards might be ice cold, don't get it twisted. But the deck, however, that's smoking hot.
No, for sure. But now, you know, Giacomo is most likely not going to be putting another 2 prizes down. Otherwise, it would just be a simple Gust KO. So it still remains Giacomo in a relatively strong position with his Lugia, because it's most likely going to survive unless Brent gets, you know, double heads on Silene, for example, for those 2 power tablets for that massive KO.
It'd be interesting because Giacomo can't use, once again, the chance to use Drapion is now gone because Brent's going to be down to 2 prizes. You can just respond on that very easily. So, can't use Amazing Ray Yvette, which I think would have been optimal here because that's actually currently in the prize card. So, it's interesting. I think Giacomo's going to have to fully commit to the Lugia, and maybe you could even just reach for the full one-shot here and just try and dispatch this. But that would require, what, 4 powerfuls?
So, I think it would require 4 power tablets and the Choice Belt.
And the Choice Belt, no, you are correct. Because there is no other Corio around, so So, wow, big turn. Oh, my goodness.
I believe that would be on the Mew VMAX. If he was able to attach a Fusion Strike Energy and use Melodious Echo, that's still 210.
Oh, no, I was saying for the Lugia, sorry, to KO this Mew V. 4 powerfuls, I believe.
Oh,
right?
no, sorry,
4 powerfuls, So, and I think you have to go for that, though, because it said Yvette was not an option, Drapen's not an option. You can't really let this Mew VMAX keep swinging around because Brent's only 2 prize cards away. He can just go tablet, how the Cameron brother did yesterday, just and just wrap this game up. So I think Giacomo has to go for it.
He definitely has to knock something out here. He has to keep his momentum going with the prize race, because we see Brent now only needing 2 prize knockout for game. Giacomo left with 5 prizes to take, of course, having to knock out the Meloetta. So it'll be really interesting to see how he navigates this.
And there's just the power of Meloetta, right? The 1 prize Pokemon, taking 2 prize cards, applying pressure. And it looks like Giacomo is definitely trying to weigh up his options. Maybe we could see like I'm trying to think now, what could you do? Like a Charizard into a Genesect play?
You could do that, So an option here could be, you know, if he has to gamble on the Lugia remaining in the active, he could be going for a boss play onto the Genesect and then just finishing it off with a Drapion. He could be going for that if it's possible.
We could be seeing maybe, trying to think, maybe even like a boss up a Genesect into Amazing Rare Raikou. and try and like 2-shot, go down to take 4 prize cards in 2 turns. I hope that the Genesect stays. Yeah. I mean, it's a bit Danny Dyer. There we see, we do see 2 powerful energies. So we could see the Final Turbo here for the for 2 more powerfuls and just sweep this Mew VMAX out the way. We haven't been able to really see Giacomo's discard pile, but all V-Guard, okay, V-Guard.
Yeah, V-Guard definitely helps. It's absolutely ginormous now.
Yeah, so that Lugia's not going anywhere, basically.
No, that Lugia's not going anywhere. So now we see Giacomo taking full advantage of the V-Guard energy, and it's
it's got the big charm as well. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so it's got a big charm and the V-Guard energy.
So that Lugia's not getting KO'd by the Mew VMAX then.
No, so what we see here, just see the Primate Wisdom coming down. And I would almost say Giacomo's in the driving seat now. This is such an interesting matchup with the prize race. It's almost like this kind of tennis match. You know, I take 2, you take 2, I'll take 3 then, and I win the game, you know. But it's interesting to see how they both navigate through this. Yeah, how do you one-up here?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think now. So Giacomo's in a very strong position. Lugia's not going anywhere. Giacomo's not going to put down any more 2 prize Pokemon for the most part. And Brent's Echoing Horn has been used. Could we see Silene, Horn, Catcher?
That's exactly what was going through my head. Now,
but Giacomo could fill his bench.
He could fill his bench. You know, he could fill his bench. That would be the optimal play here. Decides to not. I think he's taking the knockout here on the Mew VMAX. Oh, we see concession.
Was that a concession? I think it was.
Oh, we see a concession here.
Yeah, concession. It was like Giacomo. Wait, I'm assuming Giacomo's got the win. Oh, no, he's picked up his V-Star marker.
Oh, interesting.
It looks like he's picked up his V-Star, but that would imply it's going to be a game 3. Giacomo with a concession.
We're going into a game 3 here, and of course we're in the depths now of our day 2. This is where players start to solidify their records going into the end of the day. So, you know, there's a lot riding on this game.
Yeah, 100%. Looks like Giacomo saying, I don't think I can win this game. Let's try and win.
Yeah, no. We saw it yesterday.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we did. Yeah, Demi said, you know, I want to play for wins. I don't want ties. And maybe for whatever reason, Giacomo thinks, this game will go to a tie and that Brent would have wins soon. So let's just try and scoop up and get to a fast game 3. Like to see it. Yeah. So it's all to play for.
No, yeah, like we said earlier, is scooping early will give the player a chance to go make or break. You know, I'm going to go for a quick game 3 here, and I'm going to try and steal this win. I'm going to risk it all. And we starting to see the prizes now. Oh, the Drapion prized for Giacomo. Such a big card, and especially going first.
Yeah, Drapion's prize, Archeops prize, and a Evolution Incense. Looking at Brent's prizes, that's definitely the best prize card to use in this best of 3. You'll love to see that. No critical pieces. Giacomo leads with the Orango here in his game 3. And I think if Giacomo wins this, he has a fairly safe route into top 8. Brent needs to win this. So this is a very important game. And make no mistake about it, 9 minutes for these 2 decks is plenty of time.
And we spoke about it earlier, starting the Meloetta going second. Not bad start.
That is a pressure.
You know, this is where the Pokemon catchers come alive, and I cannot wait to see some coins being flipped here.
It catches or even Escape Rope on the assumption that Giacomo only puts down a Lugia. Escape Rope then becomes as good as a boss in that scenario. It looks like Giacomo plays an Evolution Incense to get or just quick ball away an Archeops, and now he's going to search. So this is probably going to find 1 Lugia V. Yeah. And Giacomo's going to get to prize check now and work out what's in the prizes. Maybe actually when time is this close, maybe prize checking becomes a bit of liability.
And scary thing for Giacomo here, I think the optimal play here is still benching 2 Lugia.
You have to bench at least something else. It has to be a 1 prize ideally. Although Escape Rope is way too live right now. And I tell you what, as a Mew player, Escape Rope Meloetta isn't the hardest thing in the world to do, and he does have the second. I was about to say, my eyes were widening there, guys.
But we talk about the prize race, and if Brent is still able to get ahead of the prize race on his first turn, that can be massive in this game.
No, you're 100% correct. And Brent was really knocking on the door there, and that was having some
turbo.
I think you have to. Both players want the win. So let's have a look. We do see a Fusion Energy. We see the Fusion Energy and the Elisa Sparkle, right? So this could just find an Escape Rope, this Cram. We're going to have to see a carry. That is a 2, I believe. So no, it wasn't. I don't think it was a 2. So here we see a quick ball. I'm trying to think. So you can attach Fusion Energy, you can play the Elisa, so you can get this hand down a little bit, but...
Counting his Fusion Strike energies there as well. Just doing a quick prize check. Of course, with this deck, so important to prize check. Checking how many Fusion Strike energy in the prizes. Fortunately enough for him, there are none. And of course, just not. Oh, when we see the Elisa Sparkle so strong, and I'm guessing he's going to be going for broke here. He's going to be going for either the escape rope or the catcher to get ahead of that prize race, like we said.
Yeah, really appreciating both players' pace of play here as well, which is things you like to see. Both players don't want this tie; they want the win. There we see Meloetta has it in hand. So are we going to see? Oh, that was a cram! That was a cram!
And one more Genesect.
We'll need to play that power tap actually. So we see Genesect for a fresh 4. We see an escape rope catcher or Forest Seal Stone. They're all going to result in this Meloetta taking 2 prizes.
We see
another quick ball for another Genesect. This is where the strength of the Fusion Strike system engine is so strong, being able to just snowball these Genesects. And let's see what else Brent has. Here we see a cram for escape rope. That's a 4. That's a 4. I imagine it's going to be an escape rope. I imagine it'd be an escape rope.
I would imagine it's to be an escape rope unless he sees the powerful energy as a threat.
Yeah, there's the rope. There's
but you know, rope still gets you the 2 prizes.
Yeah, yeah. I think if you was a true maverick, you could go for the catcher here and expect to flip heads. But I think just taking 2 prize cards here while leaving a Meloetta inactive is perfectly fine. And Brent going again, 2 prize cards on turn 1.
Yeah. This is such a big advantage, and this is where the deck really shines. You know, taking those early knockouts, being really aggressive, taking full advantage of the melodious echo on that Meloetta. What a deck!
No, it is, honestly. And I know you guys can't see the camera feed right now, but the pin I have chosen to wear all weekend is the Meloetta. And I was wearing it more out of sadness. Like, I know we don't get to see you anymore, Meloetta, but you're in my heart. But here we go, seeing Meloetta in this day 2 late scenario, possibly in contention for top cut. But back over to Giacomo, is doing fine. Does have, I believe, 2 Archeops in the discard pile, at least 1. And does have a Lugia V-Star with a powerful energy attached. Is definitely still capable of winning this game.
No, yeah, of course. And this is now Brent's game, I think. You know, he can just go with that, like he's been doing, go for the Echoing Horn play next turn. We know all of his catches are live. He hasn't used any of them. And also the boss, the Serena. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see how this game navigates now. Yeah,
no, Giacomo is definitely... not out of the woods yet. Neither is Brent, no. But I tell you what, if you're in a sort of best of 1 scenario now, right?
Yeah.
If you're in the best of 1 scenario, you leave a 1 prize in the active, turn 1, take 2 prize cards. That's a very, very good start.
Yeah, of course.
So let's see what Giacomo... I thought that was a pass there. I was like, I saw that hand. There was definitely a Luminion in there. But now, in this scenario, benching Luminion could be really deadly, because if you bench that Luminion and Brent can just take some prize cards on it, you can just Echoing Horn, bring it back, and just not even have to deal with a Lugia V-Star.
No, yeah, of course. This is where, you know, I think if he's going to be benching the Luminion, he's going to be he almost has to
go for the Aqua Return.
He has to, yeah. And I think taking a single prize with Aqua Return, like we've said, it's quite optimal. It's optimal to do. He's opting to Serena, the Mew V. With the 1 Fusion Strike energy.
Going for the 2 prize race as well, knowing that there's 1 Fusion energy gone.
And I guess this is taking out this Fusion Strike energy.
Oh, that was a Summoning Star for 1, sorry.
Oh, Summoning Star for 1.
Wow, so this is going to get interesting. I feel as if operating Lugia with 1 Primal Turbo is a much different animal. I mean, sure, it's still a ridiculously strong deck, but you're not going to be able to just pop out a Yveltal in 1 turn anymore, so...
No, of course.
But it looks like this UV's going down. Wow, that's an angry Lugia right there. Very big. Lugia is out for vengeance. 4 powerful energies.
No, yeah, and for Brent here, he doesn't want to be putting. Well, he can't put down any VMAX because we know that is easily knocked out by the Lugia. So I think here he's just going to be going for the Luminion, and the next turn is going to be that simple Echoing Horn Gust. But what Giacomo's left here is just such an easy knockout for the Meloetta. He only needs 1 power modification now with the Fusion Strike energy. But I think what Giacomo was seeing there, knocking out the Mew V with the Fusion Strike energy, is better than dealing with a Mew VMAX with 2 Fusion Strike energy on it. So, you know, what we're seeing here is that Giacomo's taking advantage of 2 prizes. He's going for keeping ahead with the prize race.
I think that was... That other Mew V, Brent benched this turn, right? I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, so I actually quite like that. Oh, here we go. Is that 2? That is a 2. Giacomo looking to the right. No, there's actually some really interesting plays we could see. We could see Brent actually just try and just go for it and KO this Lugia. You would have to involve attaching another fusion energy and then getting some power tablets as an option. We could just see him try and just go after this Luminion, like you said, and just try and get the a 2-fast knockout later, maybe via Echoing Horn. There's definitely a few options, but Meloetta, make no mistake about it, even with 2 fusion energy, it's just 1 modifier away from KOing that Luminion V as it stands right now. So now it's at 210. There's a Lost City. There's a catcher. That's a 1. That's a 1.
Oh, no.
It has to got 4 Genesects to go find Gusta.
Oh, no, he's still got plenty of time.
He's got plenty of time. If Brent can just KO that Luminion with 1 Gust card now. Let's see what he gets. There's
the boss.
Oh my goodness, Meloetta still needs a modifier. No, he doesn't need a modifier anymore because another fusion strike energy.
So this is leaving Giacomo in almost like a checkmate situation because he's got Mew on the bench, he's got Meloetta active. Well, he's going to be switching that out to draw more cards from Fusion Strike to Fusion Strike Turbo. But so now this is, like I said, putting him in the checkmate situation. All he needs now is the Echoing Horn Gust. Giacomo can't take any more than 2 prizes. So, yeah, this is Brent's game now, I think.
This is so hard for Giacomo to sort of navigate. And I think you're right. I think the onus is on Brent to close this game out because Giacomo, I don't think, has many outs to stop this Echoing Horn because I'm not 100% sure if there's enough one-prize Pokemon that Giacomo can put down to where he can fill the bench without putting another 2-prize Pokemon, all right? I mean, it'd be very hard, especially with his limited hand that we have seen. And then he said all Brent has to do is Echoing Horn and get another 2-prize knockout. It's interesting he chose to put down a Lost City because that means he can't Echoing Horn the Luminion back now. So that means if he does Echoing Horn boss, he will need to find 1 modifier still. So it's one little interesting wrinkle, but still in an incredible position.
He did, of course, knock out the Lugia V earlier on, so he can be able to Echoing Horn that later on. So, 100%. So that is still live, but he's got rid of the Lost City.
Oh, he got rid of the Lost City, so we can even just grab that back. Wow, what a turn from Brent, really applying the pressure on Giacomo and saying, right, you know what I'm trying to do. Giacomo knows what he's trying to do at this point. We've seen Echoing Horn used in both games, but can Giacomo navigate his way out of this, almost playing not to lose at this point, and he's doing it with 1 Archeops as well. Yeah,
it turns out the Drapion doesn't matter.
It hasn't even mattered.
It
hasn't come up at all. And that's one interesting note when you're playing the Fusion Strike builds. That Fusion Strike has a better time with Drapion because you can throw up attackers and apply pressure without even having to use Mew VMAX, which then in this scenario makes the Drapion a moot point. But let's see what Giacomo does. I believe time has been called. I imagine this is turn 0. I'm not 100% sure. Hopefully we can try and get confirmation of that. But yeah, I think Giacomo is just trying not to lose it. I think a win is almost out of the question.
Yeah, so like we said, it's changing from playing to win or playing not to lose.
Exactly,
this is what we're seeing here now from Giacomo. So let's see how he navigates this way through.
Okay, capture energy there. Was that off a Primal Turbo? No, that's a manual. So we can get maybe opting to go for a Radiant Charizard here. Or your Vettel, maybe.
He does have enough single prizes to keep the Echoing Horn out of contention for Brent. He's of course got Raikou, he's got the Pumpkaboo if needs be, and the Radiant Charizard, and also Dunsparce.
Oh, true. Yeah, so it's just a case of if Giacomo can get them all out. We haven't really seen his hand, but only needs to find 1 more, actually, off the back of this capture energy. So maybe, looks like he's just consulting the hand. Oh, no, 2 more, sorry, because the Yveltal was off the capture energy. I apologize. So let's see what Giacomo goes for here. I imagine this is going to be some sort of search card, maybe a Quick Ball or an Ultra Ball. And let's see what Giacomo here does. But I tell you what, even if Giacomo, right, even if Giacomo does fill the bench, it leaves Brent an option to try and blow through this Lugia. I mean, it's an option. Course.
Well, it's leaving Brent with only 1 option to do that.
Yeah.
You know, we'll have to maybe see
and
some Silene plays.
He does fill the bench. Manaphy as well does fill the bench. Echoing Horn has been closed, at least for now. But Brent maybe starts the option just to try and blow through. But I'm intrigued to see what turn of time this is. But Brent, I imagine he still has 2 turns. So definitely still win this game. But then
and the V-Guard energy comes down as well.
Okay, so now I don't think it is possible, actually.
Let's ask him more.
Asking more, yeah. Wow, what a chess match. Again, like you said, a bit like tennis, just going forwards and backwards, forwards and backwards.
Now, of course, Brent maybe has 2 turns of time. We'll get confirmation of that. So, you know, he does have 2 more turns. Take a single prize, take a single prize. We may have to see some Psychic Leap plays.
Yeah, maybe.
Done. So what we'll see here now from
Brent. Over to Brent. Either turn, well, this could be turn 2 actually, but it could also be turn 1, 100% sure. Here we see a quick ball away and the leads to Sparkle. Giacomo really good at identifying that Echoing Horn was the only way he could lose and just filling that bench quick. Let's see what Giacomo catches. Looking at it,
he's thinking about it. He's thinking about it. I guess that's. We see the Silene there, of course. That could be an option to him. Now it's just going to be asking so much of Brent to blow through that Lugia, like you said. But
here we go. It's are they going to? I thought using that die. So it's turn 1.
So it's turn 1 of time. So Brent has 2 more turns.
Yeah, if Brent has 2 more turns, he can still win. But then equally, so can Giacomo by taking a 3 prize knockout. So this is interesting. So Brent can't use Meloetta anymore. So going to have to evolve into a Move VMAX and hope that Giacomo can't KO it. Maybe you're right. Going to have to go for some Psychic Leap on maybe the Manaphy actually.
Yeah, but
just to take 1 prize card.
Oh, there's 2 power modifications as well.
Sure.
So what we see here, he'll probably need to start gusting up some single prizes. He doesn't have the escape rope. Oh, Obstinate evolve into the VMAX. This is risky.
I think you have to be going for a Psychic Leap onto the Manaphy here, right?
Yeah.
You have to be and promote like a 2 prizer. You can't leave a 3 prizer. I mean, I guess actually there is only 1 Archeop, so Yveltal might not go out. And wow, we see another Chromatic Heads. Let's see what Brent goes for here.
So he could be going for a Silene play. We could be seeing an explosive turn.
Yeah.
So if he does opt for the single prizes, this is really interesting because he has no more single Fusion Strike energy left in deck. So if he's going to be taking a knockout on 2 single prizes, he's going to be needing to keep those damage modifications in hand to be able to take those knockouts.
Yeah, or maybe he's going to go for the 2-shot on his Lugia V-Star. Just say I'm just going to boss it back and hit into it and boss it back. But we do know that Giacomo does play 1 copy of Chairman's
there's a
Care.
Silene.
Oh, wait a minute. What is that? 2 and a 3? 2 and a... Nope, it was 2 odd numbers.
They
weren't
heads.
Yeah, they definitely weren't
That's all we need to know. No, they weren't heads. So now it's...
so now there is going to be an August actually now.
Yeah,
there's a silence. So it's going to have to be 2-shot into Lugia here.
Yeah. He could be using... he could use his catchers. So we see the 1 catcher. So he does have 2 catchers left in deck available to him. Unfortunately, his choice belt is in the prizes.
Yeah.
So that may come into play, but here we see the Fusion Strike system.
Yeah,
so
Ultra Ball.
just thinning out his deck there.
Thinning is winning.
Yeah, thinning is winning, yeah, for sure. So taking no targets there. And the scary thing is with Mew, of course, the thinner the deck, the more options that are playable to you that you want to see at least.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, 100%. As the game goes on, you're only going to draw into cards that you want for the most part. So I guess Brent is just going to have to, it looks like now, just going to have to hit into this Lugia V.
Yeah.
And just hope that you can bring it back at some point. I mean, I think we've seen the Serena and Boss already be used for Brent. So the only curse he has access to now is Pokemon Catch. And I believe one's at the discard pile already, right? Got to be careful not to deck yourself out here. 1 card left.
Now, I must mention as well, there is a certain trainer in Giacomo's deck. There's the Cherries.
Yeah, the Cherries. Yeah.
That could come into play here. If he's opting
to go for the 2-shot.
Yeah, opting to go for the 2-shot.
The thing is, because Giacomo filled his bench, that means he won't be able to do Minion for it, right?
No, and he can't. Brent can't leave this VMAX active because if Giacomo is able to Cherins, he can use Yveltal.
I mean, is it possible to power up the Yveltal with only 1 Archeops in 1 turn?
Oh no, of course.
Yeah,
sorry.
There's only 1 Archeops.
Getting ahead of myself.
Yeah. So it's like this trying to do some damage.
So
it looks like he's opting to do the Cycle Leap anyway. Just Just okay. So I'm just doing some little comp. So this is. I mean, it is still possible to. Yeah, 100. They're going to work the damage out for us. So be what 50? No, 70 goes down to 50 plus 60. Yeah, and then minus 30 for the V guard. 80 damage in total. Okay. So this is turn 2, actually. So over to Giacomo. Brent will have 1 more turn left. So Giacomo cannot win this game. He cannot take free prizes. There's no free prize option. Giacomo ideally needs to try and find Chairman's Care. That wraps the game up for him.
That pretty much wraps the game up, and plus it's going back to that same old story: playing not to lose.
Yeah, not to lose. Failing finding the Chairman's Care, you have to just pay retreat and hope that Brent can't bring this Lugia back. That's Giacomo's two options here. Here we see Primal Turbo.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to find without Lumenion, of course. He doesn't have any more bench space.
Doesn't have any bench base, yeah.
Unless he has it
almost getting punished for playing around the Echoing Horn.
No, for sure.
Now it's coming back to bite. You have to imagine what we're seeing here. Onto Charizard. Oh, could just be, retreat and actually KO the Genesect, I guess, to remove...
It's the best option for him, I suppose. Now, choosing to retreat, but all Brent will need now is Gust and Double Turbo. We know that he's played the boss, we know that he's played the Serena, so we could be seeing a catcher here.
It could come down to a catcher, I think it most likely. And he's playing retreat, so I would assume that there is no Chairman's Care, so Brent can still snatch this game away from Giacomo next turn. I think it's statistically possible for Brent to draw his whole deck out, because you still have 3 Genesects left. It's so thin. As long as those cards in hand are insta-playable, it's also like drawing some kind of cards by the looks of it.
Now the thing is here also for Giacomo, if he's able to boss the Mew, that also puts Brent out of the game because he's not able to attack.
Okay, right, so here we go. Big turn for Brent. Turn 3, big turn for Brent.
Huge.
We're going to have to see a Gust, most likely by a catcher heads, I believe, into the Lugia V. Can he do it? There's one catcher in hand already. 2 catches in hand already. Two,
and the Double Turbo.
And the Double Turbo and a power tablet. So here we go. Big roll. That's a 5, I think. That's a 5. Here we go again. Here we go for game. I can't see it. Oh, no. You can't see me here, but I'm punching the table.
We hate to see it.
We played that out to the out perfectly, but I don't think it's possible.
No, he's
but
used
one catcher hit the discard pile already, right, super early, I imagine.
Yeah.
Going to draw his whole deck. I mean, unless there's some catcher or some Serena or something that we... No.
He points to the discard. He's thinking,
gracious.
They're all in there. They're all in there.
Oh.
That's
going to
end the game.
Time.
Explosive end.
Wow. I am what? I'm speechless, let me tell you. But wow, so 2 catchers and both tails. I tell you, I've been there before. And it's so upsetting, and I wouldn't want to imagine what it's like in this day 2 late scenario where both players are jostling to try and get to that top cut. Brent playing to his outs perfectly, but flipping 2 tails.
No, it's like we said before, Brent taking the risk, bringing Fusion Strike, the build for Mew. It's aggressive build, but you're playing certain risks here. You're playing the catcher. You're playing, as you said, less consistent than the Mew DTE build. You have to find your outs. You have to get rid of resources. But Brent, just almost making it, except just getting the tails.
Yeah, it was so sad to see, but commiseration to both players, and well done to Giacomo for playing not to lose that and successfully doing so as well. But I think I'm going to have a quick break now, and we'll be back with our next round as soon as possible.